Shri D.N.V. Senthil Kumar ji.
We wholeheartedly welcome Madam President to the new Parliament building to step in for the first time to deliver the President's address. Sir, the government's claim of witnessing the eradication of poverty on a massive scale is a distortion of reality that cannot be ignored. The boastful narrative conveniently sidesteps the grim fact that over 75 million Indians have plunged back into poverty, including a staggering one-third of India's 100 million strong middle class, erasing a decade of hard-earned gains according to estimates by Pew Research. So it's ironic that the government chooses to rely on Niti Aayog's data. But let me shed light on how the government is dismantling Indian federalism. The CEO of Niti Aayog revealed that the 14th Finance Commission had recommended a 42% share of central taxes to the states, but the government wanted to keep it down to 33%. This attitude is not good for Indian democracy. Sir, the government's narrative, resembling more of an election speech than a presidential address, paints a picture of miraculous transformation since 2014. Sir, the rushed implementation of the goods and service tax (GST) dealt severe blows to business across the country. Far from the glowing picture, the government portrays unemployment soared to a 45-year high, reaching 6.1% in 17-18, according to the last official count. Instead of an era of unbridled progress, the past years have witnessed economic setbacks, policy missteps, and hardships for ordinary citizens. It's time to see through carefully the crafted rhetoric and confront the harsh truth of the economic challenges faced by our nation. While the presidential speech claims credit for the Prime Minister Narendra's government for introducing a 27% reservation for OBCs in medical courses, the reality is different. This charge came only after a Supreme Court judgment, thanks to the relentless efforts of our leader, Chief Minister M.K. Stalin. The DMK, under his leadership, filed the first public litigation on this matter. The government commitment to social justice appears hollow in light of these facts. It is crucial to recognize the genuine efforts of our leaders like M.K. Stalin in championing the causes of OBC rights. So the erosion of India's parliamentary democracy under this government. Over the past 10 years, India's vibrant democracy has faced significant challenges, revealing an enormous erosion of parliamentary values under the leadership of the Prime Minister's government. Firstly, the trend of rushing bills without adequate debate is alarming. The passing of contentious farm laws without proper division vote illustrates the adverse consequences of hasty decision-making as excised by the prolonged farmer protests that lasted for 333 days and caused 600 deaths. The approach, coupled with a lack of thorough discussion and review in parliamentary committees, raises concerns about the impact on public life. According to analysis, Sir, the Prime Minister's silence on Manipur ethnic conflict is another notable omission, reflecting a lack of proactive engagement in resolving critical issues. The 17th Lok Sabha, historic low number of sittings, only 230 days so far, diminishes the time available for discussions and scrutiny of bills. This challenges the very essence of parliamentary democracy. This government is doing this purposely, restricting the time period of sessions and rushing the bills, while the autocratic BJP government had passed as many as 14 bills in 3 days after suspending 146 MPs from both the houses. The absence of a deputy speaker in Lok Sabha for 4 years violates constitutional norms of a position conventionally reserved for the opposition members. This shows how the government is violating the constitution and strangulating the voice of the opposition. Even with a brute majority, government's over-reliance on ordinances passing 76 through this route since 2014. The freezing of MP-led funds and amid the pandemic raised questions about adherence to parliamentary protocol and equitable distribution of resources for development. The reduced engagement of Prime Minister in parliamentary proceedings indicates a concerning trend moving away from substantial leadership to mere presence. Sir, the communal encroachment into parliamentary proceeding challenges the fundamental foundational principle of secularism, jeopardizing India's diverse and inclusive character. The rushed nature of public notice inviting suggestions on a proposed policy until 15th Jan violates the pre-legislative Constitutional Policy 2014, which prescribes a minimum 30-day period for public input. This hurried approach undermines the principles of democratic governance. Sir, regarding the Enforcement Directorate raids, I would like to know through you from this government to publish a proper statistics on which and all members of which political party has this government taken an Enforcement Directorate raid and upon which stage, so that once it comes into the public domain, the people will be aware of the work of the government. So I am concluding. I will end my speech by extracting a few sentences from Nehru's famous Tryst with Destiny speech. Sir, it is called Tryst with Tyranny. Sir, 30 seconds, I am just concluding. Long years ago, we made a tryst with democracy, and now the time looms when we must reckon with the spectre of tyranny. At the brink of a potential dark hour, if India elects a current regime in 2024, the dawn of oppression may cast shadows on the ideals we once held dear. As the world sleeps, India may awaken not to life and freedom, but to a reality where the soul of the nation, once liberated, now finds shackled. The ambition of those who fought for freedom may be overshadowed by the aspirations of a regime with autocratic tendencies. Wrong fears for every might transform into wiping fears, dissent, and curtailing individual liberties. As an edge ends, the echoes of suppression may drown out the voice of democracy. Our labor and toil may no longer be directed towards the progress of a free nation, but instead it could be employed to fortify the walls of authoritarian rule. The dreams we once held for India may be eclipsed by harsh realities of a world witnessing the erosion of democratic values. Thank you, sir.
श्री संजय सेठ जी।
जय जोहार सभापति महोदय। अभिभाषण में महामहिम द्रौपदी मुर्मू के उद्बोधन से देश में हो रहा है गुणगान।